I'll give you guys context, okay? Basically, Psyche used to be a Nikkei YouTuber, right? He used to be a Nikkei YouTuber, and I never met the guy, but he was like a very big Nikkei YouTuber and stuff like that. And then he kind of branched off from Nikkei into just general gacha gaming reviews. And he found a really good, like, you know, it's not Nikkei drama. He found a really good, like niche with that, right? His channel is really good. I think if you want to genuinely find a guy who can actually tell you about gacha games and like get a good understanding of what a gacha game is about before you actually dive into a gacha game, I feel like his channel is a really good one to react to or like watch and stuff like that, right? But he dropped this video, which if you guys can see, I haven't liked, right? I didn't actually like, I haven't liked that little troll. I'm not gonna like it. But it's called Duet Night Abyss, No Gacha, Same Problems, First Impression Review. Basically, if you're wondering why the dislike ratio is that much, it's because apparently he had the worst take you could have in gaming history for this type of game, and they're cooking him in these comments. They were absolutely cooking him, right? So we're gonna take a look at this video, the full thing, right? And we're gonna see what the hell is popping, right? We're gonna see what the hell is popping, because I just think it's crazy. But let's take a look.
Duet Night Abyss has just launched, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's all that impressive. The game boasts one of the first mobile games that was formerly a gacha but transitioned to a gacha-less model afterwards, with the incentives that it's a game that respects your time and no fear of missing out in its mechanics. It certainly sounds a bit too good to be true, and let's be real here, it is. Hi, my name is Psyche, and I'll be breaking
his
down
content, his channel was never like this, but whoever the editor is needs a raise. It was never like this when he was doing Nikkei, bro. It was this, like, he had good high quality edits. Yes, he had really good high quality edits, but this
DNA's features.
Yeah, that's a fire intro. Can we get one of that for me? Zeoxys with my logo?
However, despite all of what was promised,
chat. Should I change my logo on YouTube? Should I change my logo on YouTube to this right here with those two guys on my actual Zeoxys channel? Let me know.
I think DNA will struggle with the most is something more ingrained in its design and not actually related to the monetization or farming mechanics.
It can't be that bad, right? You'll see.
About this potential future giant indie gacha gaming space, let's get right down to it. First, there's something I would like to address. Duet Night Abyss is certainly taking gacha game graphics to the next level. Since it's developed on Unreal Engine, you can expect performance to be a bit hit or miss. This game is also teetering on what mobile phones can handle. I will not be commenting on the performance for the remainder of the review, but to my knowledge, it suffers from occasional performance issues on certain PCs at the moment, and I shudder.
Okay, certain PCs, when he says certain PCs, it's just sorry PCs, right? I know I played Duet Night Abyss, obviously. When this game came out, or when it came out, I think it's fine now, I don't know, but on mobile you couldn't run this game. I don't know if that's still the case. They're like horrendous launch for mobile. It was horrendous. You could not play the game on mobile. You physically could not.
To think what those playing on a phone will be like. Now, I don't do any of the technical side and do any benchmarking here, but I did run a quick test on
and that right there is a sponsor, and if they're not paying me, they're not getting nothing.
By Pan Studio and published by Hero Games, which to my understanding are relatively small in scale, and this game must have taken a pretty big cut out of their budget. Anyways, after a lengthy campaign of over 2 years, the game is finally out.
Okay.
What was supposed to be a game that had the traditional approach of a stamina system and gacha banners has changed to something
they really do need to do something about their controller issues. It's mad annoying. I mean, I don't play on controller. I have a mouse and keyboard. The hell?
I guess we'll start with an overview of the game. I read the story when I was playing during its first closed beta test, and I thought it was pretty good. The game features a dual narrative approach, so the two protagonists are not just versions or alter egos of each other, but rather completely different people with their backstories. It's also pretty refreshing to see a gacha protagonist not have the typical...
I know this has nothing to do with the video, right? It has absolutely nothing to do with the video, but when I did the story, I was actually reading the story. But then I bought a costume for my main character, and anytime she went into the story, it would change back to the regular design for the main character. So I was like, F this. Because I'm not going to spend money for an outfit of the main character, and anytime she pulls up in a pop-up scene or a cutscene, she's looking like a noob.
Amnesia trait, whether a blank slate. It's definitely one of the better gacha game stories I've gone through, well, in terms of 3D gachas at least. I think some of the facial animations still look a little bit off for the NPCs, but for the most part, the presentation is fine. They're probably pretty proud of that intro fight scene. I would like to also give a quick shout out to the music. The track variety is impeccable and are all beautifully composed. Sometimes takes a page straight out of Nier Automata, which happens to feature my favorite video game soundtrack of all time.
Okay.
As for the gameplay, you can only on-field one character at a time, but I suppose the game was trying to go for a more co-op approach.
Probably a
in the
pre-render
mid-game,
cutscene,
with
maybe.
different roles like support, DPS, and healers. You can equip one melee and ranged weapon, all with their different variations. Worth mentioning that every character can use every weapon, though the element the weapon attacks are infused with will still match the character's element. When you use left click, you swing the weapon, and holding right click fires the gun. There's all sorts of moves and combos you can do, like attacks right after a slide, when slamming down, when holding or pressing attack repeatedly. You have a dodge move to evade enemy attacks, a slide to initiate a helix leap, though I struggle to see why you would ever use the slide by itself. You have a shield meter above your health and an energy gauge to use skill or ult attack.
He just explained the game to us, so I guess that makes sense. I'm like, what's he talking about right now?
To an acceptable range, you can just spam left.
I forget that this review right here is not actually like it's not a video where he like when he made it, his whole point was just to talk trash about the game. He like made this to actually review it, but this gets crazy, y'all.
Miscellaneous activities you can do in the overworld, like fishing, shooting minigames, and catching Genimon. I didn't really get too deep into it, but some of the Genimon can have some unique effects, like picking up enemy drops at a longer range. When you're not doing co-op, you can set 2 other AI companions to fight alongside you, but co-op content will take one of those AI slots away for every extra player. I should also mention that DNA is not marketed as an open world game, but rather an RPG with open world elements. You can really do a lot of crazy things out in the wild, though sometimes you'll come across hidden chests and minigames. Just don't count on exploration being a big part of your experience here. There's also the impression system, where you have a list of 6 personality traits, and choosing certain dialogue will increase one. When you perform a check, you roll a dice. The higher that stat, the higher the chance to succeed. I don't really think this matters all that much, and you can also just create the dice currency in the forging menu, so you can just keep trying again. But anyways, enough about the gameplay. Let's talk about the main attraction. So, one of Duet Night Abyss's main attractions is the promise of a no stamina system, respecting the player's time, they said.
Yes.
You can farm whenever you want. Is all of that actually true? Let's see.
Chat, it's actually true. I played Duet Night Abyss. Bro, I played Duet Night, like, for the last 2 days, I've played this game a lot less than I have the days before, and I don't even feel like I'm behind at all. Really, it's one of those games.
Into the combat tab, you'll access many different commission types to complete for loot drops. All sorts of goodies can be farmed here, such as XP for your characters or weapons, demon wedges as the relic system for set bonuses, ascension material, and wins to farm for new characters and weapons. You can do these alone or in co-op, and some will take longer than others. In theory, if you wanted to max out a character, you can just grind for hours and you'll be able to achieve just that. So, the lack of stamina is a good thing, right? Well, in my opinion, not really. When you do a normal commission, you can use a booster to increase the drop rate of rewards for that run, with some of the better boosters netting you up to 20 times the rewards. The problem is that you have to buy these with premium currency.
Okay. Well, this right here is so cherry pick. One, like, respectfully, y'all, you don't need the commission manuals. It just helps you, like they literally just help you do more than one run, in a sense. Like, let's say you have the freaking purple one, right? Rather than doing one run and getting one run's like worth of rewards, you do one run and you get like 8 runs worth of rewards. That's all it does, right? But it's not like a need thing, right? And again, Nikkei, I'm so stupid, wrong game. Duet Night Abyss, DNA, they don't give you any of this currency, so you do need to buy this. But the green books you do get for free every day you open up the you open the game every day, right? You open up the game every day.
While you can make the argument that this is still better than having a stamina system, since you can just farm whenever you want, you also have to come to terms that someone that's willing to pay a little extra will progress faster than you, even though you both put in the same amount of effort.
But does that matter, though? Like, you get what I'm saying, y'all? Does that matter? I could care less. There's people who have way more time and way more resources than me. You know, they got all that stuff way more than me, and they've played the same amount as me because they spent extra money. But I don't give a damn. Why would I care? There's no ranking system in this game. Why would I care about that? The hell, that's so silly. Why am I gonna care about a next man's account? What?
Whether this bothers you is purely subjective. No stamina system also means that you don't get player XP from just completing commissions.
Yes, that's right.
What activities give player XP, but since the better commissions drop mats at a higher rate, you want to raise that level quick. Also, one extra kudos I gotta give is that the game lets you equip the same demon wedge on multiple characters or weapons. So, since you're gonna need like 20 of these per character, that's at least one less thing to worry about.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about my thoughts on the character and weapon system now. You have to get the secret letter currency, then run the secret letter of the character or weapon, then run the covert commission for the chance for their shard to drop.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain all of it in detail again since I did it in the sponsor video. Anyways, 30 of it equals 1 copy of them. In short, I think the system is good, but not as good as you think. First, I'd like to point out that you can skip the grind with the premium currency. This will cost you around $50 with some leftover, assuming you have the first top-up bonus. Do I have a problem that you can skip the grind with real money? No, not really. If you consider that if you were to try using top-up packs to guarantee a 5-star in the conventional gacha game, you're likely gonna have to spend upwards of a couple $100s. So $50 in that context, not so much anymore. However, you also have to keep in mind that each character has 6 dupe levels.
Yes.
And they all requires 30 shards each. Because the shards are earnable in-game, this gives the devs and dedicated players room to make the dupe levels drastic increases to the character's strength.
Okay.
And that you can just grind it for free, so there's no problems here. That may be true, except you have to factor in the amount of time you have to spend to do it. And will everyone have that much time on their hands? This is of course not including all the other ways.
Yeah, I just heard what he said. Let me go back. What?
Here. That may be true, except you have to factor in the amount of time you have to spend to do it. And will everyone have that much time on their hands? This is of course not.
No, it doesn't matter. It don't matter if everybody has that time on their hands. You know why? Because this is not a time-based game. It's not like Nikkei, for example, where if you don't log in and do the events in the current event anniversary, 3rd anniversary they got going on, then you're going to just miss out on it. This is not one of them games. You could play this game a year from now. You could play this game a year from now and probably still catch up to somebody who's played it day one. Like, that's what this type of game is. It's one of those games where you could play this game a year, 2 years, 3 years later, and eventually you will match up with somebody who's been playing since day one. That's one of these games. You know what I mean? Where you have these gacha games, right? Because that's what he keeps comparing it to, gacha games, right? Nikkei, for example, is a gacha game. If somebody was to start Nikkei now, unless they spend a lot of money, right, there's no possible way they're going to catch up to me, right? Because while they're progressing and trying to catch up to me, at the same time, I'm progressing and catching up. This is one of them games where it stops at a certain point. It stops at a certain point. That's what one of these games are.
Including all the other ways you can upgrade the character, and acquiring weapons also has a similar grinding system. I should also mention that the rate in which you get the secret letter clues is limited. While you still can farm these at a slower rate by manually farming, it's just another process you have to go through to get what you want. The lack of a stamina system is honestly a double-edged sword, if you ask me. In a normal gacha game, you'll press one button to spend your stamina to farm for all you can, then you're done for the day and you can spend your time doing other things. You do this every day or whenever you can. It's quick sessions of stimulus that expose you to just enough to form a habit and slow down your progression. From a player retention perspective, it works great and probably why the vast majority of mobile games have them. It will continue to have them.
What is he on about? What? I've never heard anything more silly in my life. So basically, he's saying that having no stamina is a double-edged sword because in most games that have stamina, in most gacha games that have stamina systems, you basically can just use your stamina system and get off the game. Oh my god. What is stopping a player from doing that in this game? I can open up Duet Night Abyss, play as long as I want. Even if I want to play 1 minute, I could do that and come off the game. And I don't have to worry about me wasting any resources or wasting my stamina or anything. Because none of that exists in this game. Y'all see what I'm saying? The only thing in this game that I have to worry about quote unquote wasting is the weekly missions. Because you can only do 5 weekly missions a week, right? That's it. So if I miss this entire week and don't touch my weeklies, that's 5 runs that I'm missing out of. right? But the only thing that weekly missions grant you are characters and weapons, not materials. Well, it does grant you materials and stuff like that to ascend the characters and stuff like that. But like not like every single character, just like skills and stuff. Not ascend, like skills. You use them to upgrade your skills and stuff like that. Weekly is the only thing in this game that actually is like time gated, if that makes sense.
In the foreseeable future. On the other hand, when you do the exact same thing over and over again for 3 hours, you're going to experience burnout. Even if you can fully complete the 6 dupe levels in like 2 hours, that's still going to be a lot of time for some people.
Ooh. Let me just hear what he just said, because I'm about to clock his tea.
Thing over and over again for 3 hours, you're going to experience burnout. Even if you can fully complete the 6 dupe levels in like...
This is not a job. How the hell are you going to experience burnout? How are you going to experience burnout in a game where you get to decide how long you play? In what world? In what world? How can you if I'm getting burnt out, if I'm feeling like I don't want to play anymore for the day, I will simply close the game. Am I tripping? Chat, if I don't want to play anymore because I'm so drained and burnt out, I will close the game and continue when I have the stamina again, because I can do that. It's not a time-based game.
Like 2 hours, that's still going to be a lot of time for some people.
So don't play for 2 hours. Don't play for 2 hours. Play for 2 minutes.
Drastic power increases, it can often feel that if you don't complete the farming for the dupes, the character feels incomplete.
That's a lie. That's a lie. I only have dupes for 2 characters. The MC, because they forced that on you, and Rebecca. Every other character I have has no dupes. I get through all the content just fine. Sure, some fights take some fights, depending on what characters I'm using, might take longer than if I'm using another character, right? If I'm using Rebecca, who's a farming character on a boss, versus freaking Psyche, who is meant for bosses, sure, it's gonna take me longer to beat that boss with Rebecca than with Psyche, right? But I don't need dupes. I don't need dupes to beat it. You know what I'm saying? What am I hearing?
What will inevitably happen is that people will optimize the hell out of
what
this
did
game.
this post say? What? Fastest way to complete secret letters. Just wait for this mantle to come around. This is so disingenuous. So you want me to wait hours on hours on hours to do something that takes me 30 seconds to beat? Like, chat, there's no way people are that pressed about how long something takes. Chat, basically, dismantle is one of the things in the game where you farm, like, you do dismantle to get the character materials, right? Or the dupes, farm the dupes, whatever, right? If I do dismantle, it will take me literally 30, 40 seconds to beat dismantle. The only other thing that I can think of that takes longer than 2 minutes is relocation. And that's because you have to actively wait for the car to get all the way to the last point. Every other thing, rather than it taking 30, 40 seconds like freaking dismantle, it takes a minute to a minute and 30 seconds. Am I really that pressed about 30 extra seconds? Do you get what I'm saying? Who in their right mind is generally that pressed about 30 extra seconds? Come on, man. It will take me 30 seconds to it will take me, I don't even know.
Imagine what will inevitably happen is that people will optimize the hell out of this game. Fastest farming routes.
People got no time these days from what it looks like, goddamn. Well, I'm like, why don't you play these games when you have time? You know what I'm saying? There's people in here who generally, they know they have work at 9 a.m. and will open up and expect to play the game at 8:59. What? Why don't you play the game when you have time? How are you gonna open a game at 5:59, a minute before your shift, and then sit there and say, oh, I don't have no time to play the game because I have a job? What? Oh my god.
Fastest teams to do mission types, fastest commission types to run. I tried to unlock a few characters and I was able to unlock a copy of Sybil in like 30 minutes. Now, since the covert commissions refresh every hour, this means you can wait.
I'm in college and I still play games and work like a brother, work like brother. What? That's what I'm saying. And when I was in college, we had 10-minute breaks. We had those each class. So for those 10-minute breaks, right, I could play my games if I wanted to. You don't need to play a game 24/7. And again, this game, out of all these other games, like these other types of games, this game is the game where you don't need to feel forced and rushed to hop on right then and there, right? Again, going back to a gacha game, Nikkei is a game where if I haven't done my daily before reset, I have just completely wasted a day. I could play this game and then I could play this game on Monday, not play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, come back on Saturday, and I will have not lost a day. I would have not lost a thing. I would have not wasted materials. I would have not wasted nothing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have wasted stamina or anything like that because this game doesn't have all of that. That's what I'm getting at.
Until you see a mission type that's way shorter to complete. I think the best one out right now is the dismantle mission type. You can basically zoom across the map and delete the 3 beacon points in less than a minute.
Yes.
I found this to be extremely efficient in farming the shard, and even though part of it does come down to luck, this is what I would do if I wanted to unlock a character fast.
Okay.
I couldn't care less about playing these levels. These are just the means to get what I want, and I want to get past this chore as fast as I can. Circling back to the topic of player retention, for anything that requires a concentrated amount of brain usage, you're gonna get exhausted both mentally and physically, even though you know that.
What am I hearing? What am I hearing?
The game is fun, you are also likely to mentally associate your exhaustion as a consequence of playing the game. If you take a look at
What am I hearing? What am I hearing?
you're gonna get exhausted both mentally and physically. Even though you know that the game is fun, you are also likely to mentally associate your exhaustion as a consequence of.
Chat. When I feel like I don't want to play Duet Night Abyss anymore, I simply come off the game. Do you want to know why? I'm not even gonna.
Playing the game. If you take a look at numerous surveys, the average gaming session for a mobile user is around 5 minutes. Now you might argue, well, DNA is not a mobile game. Okay, well, did you know that the platform distribution for players in Genshin Impact, which many would agree to be the benchmark of the gacha industry, about 65% of.
Is he comparing Duet Night Abyss to Genshin Impact right now? What am I hearing? What am I hearing, chat?
Players are on mobile. A large portion of the player base for these games are on their phones. You can see how we might be running into a problem here. Mobile games are designed for quick bursts of playtime during your breaks or lunch. It was never meant to be played for prolonged periods. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, if you will. Whether or not DNA's.
Chat, I only play mobile games when I'm bored. When I'm on my lunch break, I eat my lunch. I play games on my phone when I'm bored, and I know I have the time to. You get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? Since when was mobile games designed for people who just want, like, you know, no, it was meant for people who, whenever they were bored, right? No matter where, no matter what, whenever they were bored, if they had the time, they could just open up their phone and then get something exciting. I used to play Subway Surfers for hours.
System will backfire is anyone's guess. Now you might be wondering,
Verily.
right, genius, if you think both having stamina or not having it are bad ideas, then what do you suggest? Oh, I got a suggestion, alright, but it's never going to be implemented. I propose that you just need to get rid of all the methods to upgrade a character. You don't need to farm it.
What?
bad ideas, then what do you suggest? Oh, I got a suggestion, alright, but it's never going to be implemented. I propose that you just need to get rid of all the methods to upgrade a character. You don't need to farm materials to level or ascend them. You don't need to level or ascend weapons. Get rid of the demon wedge system. Get rid of leveling skills. When you get a character, you can...
He just said the best way to solve the grinding issue, or the best way to make this game better, this grind-based game, the game where the whole purpose, the whole point of this game is to grind whenever you want. He just said the best way to save this type of game is to remove the grind. Oh my god. 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 What am I hearing? What am I hearing?
passively level them from running stages, but that's it. When you get a weapon, you already have it at the strongest point it can be. Your skills can be passively leveled or unlocked as a flat version that doesn't change.
So we just don't want to play games no more. We don't want to play games no more, because what he's saying is once you do something, they just give you everything. What? I'm sorry. The end game of these types of games is to grind out your account. This is not like Wuthering Waves. This is not like Genshin Impact. It's not a gacha game. The end goal of this type of game specifically is to grind out your account. And he is saying the best way to make this game better is to remove the grind and just have everything given to you. Like this is a collection book.
No RNG gear system as well. You can switch between different skill sets, but you don't need to grind for this. I think the only way you can solve the stamina issue is to just remove what you are using it for. Obviously, for mobile games that incentivize daily logins, this absolutely cannot happen. So my suggestion will just forever be that. I would also like to comment on the gacha list system as well. Despite not having a stamina system, you'll still be barred by the rate you can acquire them. This system is great if you have a lot of time to game and find the grind to be addicting. I'm sure there will be a crowd for it. I overall think this system is fine, just not that much of an improvement over a traditional gacha system. If you don't want to spend hours of your time on this though, the only alternative will be to pay up. But hey, a valid argument is that you won't have to risk random chances to save up for months just to not get what you want. If you put in the effort, you will get the character. However,
so it don't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. This is how I don't even, oh my god. Chat. Okay. Let's compare it to a gacha game. Let's hop on his side of the court and let's compare this to a gacha game. In a gacha game, if I was a free-to-play, I would have to grind resources and currency to then summon and get a chance at the character, right? But if I was a spender, I would spend money and then summon a chance at getting the character. In this game, you have the same thing, but if you spend money, you guarantee get the character. And if you don't spend money, you guarantee get the character. You just have to grind. Rather than grinding resources to get a chance at the character, you grind the resources to get the character. Does that make sense? I'm farming currency in a gacha game to attempt and try, like it's a lottery pool, at pulling a character. And in Duet Night Abyss, I am grinding to guarantee get the character. What? Oh my god. Oh my god.
there are people that think otherwise. This is gonna sound insane, but gambling is really fun.
It's true. Gambling is fun. It is. To a fool. Gambling, yeah, obviously, bro. Gambling is fun. I understand. Like, I get it. It's I would never gamble though. I'll never gamble, right? But like, I understand the rush of like, oh, I just spent this much. Can I get to, like a more value? You know what I mean? Right? Gambling is fun when you're doing it, but when you spend all your money and you don't get whatever you thought you were going to get, it's no longer fun, right? Because how fun is it to call the freaking agency and say, I want to file for bankruptcy? What? What are we talking about?
There are people out there that play gacha games precisely because of the thrill. Think about how good it felt to land that 5-star in a single pull, while the rest of the plebeians had to go to pity for the same thing. Now that certainly was a highlight.
Yeah, but even still, oh my god, even in Duet Night Abyss, you technically still have that, chat. Because when you're grinding your character, you can either get no rewards, 2 fragments to get, like 2 fragments to the character's 30 to get the character, or 10 fragments to the 30, the 30 you need for a character, right? If I got the 10 fragments, the first 3 grinds, that would be the same thing as me getting them early where everybody else had to kind of grind a bit longer to get the character, no? Or am I tripping? I don't know. I don't think I'm tripping, but
I'm one to think that the no gacha option is still better than having one, though I feel as if though DNA's approach may not be what some mobile gamers are looking for. So here's what I propose to be the true solution to the no gacha problem. You still have daily missions and events that give out the gacha tokens at a controlled rate. However, when you go into the gacha screen, instead of seeing the 1 or 10 pull option, you just see a single button. 10,000
chat, I'm gonna play that back.
I feel as if though DNA's approach may not be what some mobile gamers are looking for. So here's what I propose to be the true
This is the true solution
to the no gacha
to the no gotcha problem. Which I don't even know who that was a problem for. I don't know where the no gotcha, who was that a problem for? I've yet to hear somebody say, oh, please add a gotcha system into the game for the characters. I've never heard that nonsense, but we'll move.
You still have daily missions and events that give out the gacha tokens at a controlled rate. However, when you go into the gacha screen, instead of seeing the 1 or 10 pull option, you just see a single button. 10,000 gems to get this character. No.
Did bro just did he just describe an exchange shop? Did he just describe an exchange shop? Your true solution to a no gotcha system is an exchange shop? How does that help people with this quote-unquote gotcha problem? Ow. Chat, how does that help out the people? For the people who have this gambling problem and want to go, yeah, am I getting the 5-star character? How does an exchange shop change that? Mind you, this game already has that. If you spend your money, you guaranteed get the character. If you spend $50, you guaranteed get the character. Right? The only thing that he's saying that's quote unquote different from that is the fact that they would be giving you the resources to guarantee get the character, which then again takes away from the grinding. You do events and daily missions to get currency where you just get the character? Missions such as log into the game? Does this guy want us to play a closed beta testing server? Or a freaking content creator server? Where you just have everybody? I'm not trying to play no simulation.
No gambling here. If you click the button, you will get it. There's no ambiguity or 50-50 rate up chances. We retain the casual nature of gacha games while getting rid of the gambling aspect. If there's a gacha game willing to go this route, that'd be something I praise all day. Overall, I think DNA systems are fine. I think it does things differently enough that people will be giving it a fair shot. It's just not what I believe to be objective improvements over what gacha games have had in the past. Of course, that doesn't exactly mean gacha is taken out of the game for good. DNA is using using a cosmetics-focused monetization approach. While there are many deals in the game accessories and full outfits, the upper echelon of the cosmetics goes to these gacha skins. I suspected something like this would happen, since the game still has to make some money somehow. This means they're gonna be a bit more stingy with the skins. As you can see, the rates are
What'd I say?
This means they're gonna be a bit more stingy with the skin.
Nice non-character skin, by the way.
As you can see, the rates are really not in your favor here. A 0.3% chance to land a premium cosmetic, and it's split into different rewards.
This right here is the most disingenuous thing I've ever seen in my life. I play this game. Chat. He showed it himself. He showed it himself.
DNA
I'll go back.
Is using a cosmetics-focused monetization approach. While there are many deals
Go and show
in
it.
game accessories and full outfits,
Go and show it.
The upper
Okay. Chat. You see how he just said the 0.3, it's a 0.3 chance for the skin, and sometimes you don't even get the skin? Do you know what the other two things were? 25 and 50 of this currency. So I either get the skin, right? Or I get 25 of that currency to exchange for that skin. Or I get 50 to exchange for that skin and then get extra for the next skin so I don't have to summon again. In what world are we complaining? No matter what you get the skin or you get more. I don't understand.
Echelon of the cosmetics goes to these gacha skins. I suspected something like this would happen.
That's like somebody, that's like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Since the game still has to make some money somehow. This means they're gonna be a bit more stingy with the skins. As you can see, the rates are really not in your favor here. A 0.3% chance to land a premium cosmetic, and it's split into different rewards. Now, when a gacha gets transferred to a skin gacha, then the value of it becomes a lot more subjective. After all, how much would you be willing to pay for this? Some people absolutely don't care about skins. Some people play games because of them. Since the characters are farmable, this gives room for the developers to be as stingy as they want with the skins, and you really can't argue against it. If they wanted to make some $60 skins, some $200 skins, you know what I'm saying? Then they're kind of free to do so. You can bet that you won't be getting a lot of free pulls here. I would also like to point out that DNA is definitely not the first to have a skin gacha. There are numerous examples of older gachas that have had this approach. It just happens to be the first that's also a high budget release. Me personally, I don't have a problem with this, but that's mainly because I don't really care about cosmetics most of the time.
Okay.
There are many people that really want these skins, so the skin gacha really isn't something I can make a good objective judgment on. People often argue about what is considered as
the only issue, okay, chat, the only issue I have with the skin gacha in Duet Night Abyss is that it's more like you are not able to get currency unless they have like actually like an event where they're giving you that type of currency. You don't get the currency for the actual main banner skin unless you spend money, which that's the only issue I have. But at the end of the day, this game needs to make money somehow, right? If I can grind up the characters for free, then I'm not going to spend money to get the characters. That's me personally. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of other people. But then there are same people, there's other people who don't want to grind and just spend money, right? There are other people who just want to spend the money and have the character. For the people who are able to do that, then they can just spend the money and get the skin as well. Right? I don't understand the logic here, bro.
Just cosmetics, there's absolutely no paying involved. However, if your win condition is to have the coolest...
What game is that, though? Chat, what game is this? I'm sorry, what? Because that girl looks schmexy. What game is this? Who is this? What game is this? Let me know what game this is. That's fire.
If your win condition is to have the coolest looking skins, well, in that case, DNA will be paid to win. For you, specifically. So we've talked about everything unique DNA has to offer, and I think the gacha-less character system, lack of stamina, and the cosmetic-based monetization are all mostly okay. I'm sure they will appeal to a certain fanbase that will support the game.
Bro's interest got peaked.
However, I believe Duet Night Abyss suffers from one major issue, something that's way harder to fix and something more ingrained in its systems. The gameplay is just kinda boring. I mean, I understand that there's all sorts of tricks.
I mean, he can have that opinion, obviously. That's something where you can't go after him for, right? If he feels like the gameplay is boring, he can feel like that. You know what I mean? It's the same way how like us in Nikkei, some of us in Nikkei think Nikkei's gameplay is really fun and excited, and then other people look at it like other people look at it and they be like, what the F is that? You know what I mean? He could have his opinion for what he feels like the game might be, boring or not.
And maneuvers you can do, except for the week I played this game, I just spammed live click and felt I was never challenged. I feel like there's no synergy between a character's kit and how you can express them. The different moves you can do just feel like different variations of the same attack. Because of how you can only on-field one character at a time, you can't do any elemental interactions where
oh my god, this guy has been corrupted by Wuwa and Genshin Impact. He's been corrupted. What are you talking about, elemental reaction? Why would you need elemental reaction in a grinding based game? For it to look cool? What? Am I tripping, chat? How deep are you into the gacha mindset? How deep are you into that mindset where you're saying the gameplay is boring because it doesn't have the same gameplay like gacha games? A non-gacha, that's like me saying chess is boring because it doesn't have the same gameplay as Valorant. What?
I've also read in the reports on the movement not feeling as smooth, but I'm assuming this is fixable. What's something that you cannot change is the very nature of the gameplay. I thought maybe they would have done something different apart from the early beta launch, but now that the game is out, it almost makes me think that they've dedicated most
I like chess too! I like chess too! Right? But I'm never gonna look at chess and be like, oh, this gameplay, like the way you play chess is boring because it's not how you you can't shoot a gun in this game. Or chess is boring because you know what I mean? You can't freaking like race other cars and like what?
Resources to revamping the progression system and left the gameplay design as is. I mean, in my eyes, the gameplay is the beating heart of the game. I can put up with a stingier system if the gameplay is good, but if it's not fun, then even the most generous gacha system can't save you. Now, I normally don't comment on the nature of gameplay since it makes no sense.
He's lost too many brain cells from playing too much Genshin? Well, let's not disrespect the guy, y'all. I think his opinion, I think this whole video is bull. I do, but let's not disrespect the human.
Sense for me to argue that a 3D brawler is better than tower defense. In this case though,
did I just call him a human? I mean, he is that, but that's so like NPC of me. Let's not disrespect Psyche.
In the context of an action brawler, I feel like DNA just doesn't have much for me to chew on. Now,
personal preference.
I'm not getting, but during my time playing, I just wiped the floor on every stage just by spamming normal attacks on my ult ability. So I didn't see a reason to look.
Okay, what level is your Rebecca? Let me see.
Attacks or adapt a different strategy. In other during my time playing, I just wiped the floor on every stage just by spamming normal attacks on my ult ability.
Okay.
So I didn't see a reason to learn enemy attacks or adapt a different strategy. In other action brawlers, you have different team members meant to play their roles, and it's satisfying to pull off a tight rotation or see how your team comes together. Here though, everyone is just kind of expected to do damage, and it's not exactly creative how they do it. There's no opportunity for me to know that I'm doing something wrong. As long as you can maintain your character and weapon levels and get some decent demon wedges, you won't be in any danger most of the time. My guess
well, that's the point of this game. Chat, like, that's the point of this game, though. That is the exact point of this game. It's like me wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then complaining that the gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not like freaking League of Legends. I don't understand. Am I tripping? That's like me wanting to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then going into Yu-Gi-Oh! And complaining that the type of game that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been built upon is not like League of Legends, a completely different game.
Essentially, some of the endgame.
Why is the Yu-Gi-Oh! A Pokemon style game? I don't know. I wonder why. Oh.
Content will be harder and more centered around co-op teams with distinct roles during the fight. So you have more interactable elements with other players and how you all come together to contribute. I know some of the Demon Wedges change your playstyle quite drastically, with some even adjusting your movesets, though I never got too deep enough into the game to know if it truly matters that much. My own prediction is that the game will do well enough to garner and
He said his opinions? Oh, then, I mean, I don't know. Like, because I'm not trying to be that guy that says, like, you can have an opinion, but it's wrong. But, like, that's just, I feel like that opinion right there is just crazy. Chat, imagine I went into Pokemon and then started complaining because my Pikachu isn't swinging around the map like Spider-Man.
A player base. I don't think it's going to reach the upper echelon of gacha gaming revenues, and I predict that not a lot of games will follow suit what DNA is doing. I'm sorry to say it, I highly respect Pan Studios' decision to remove the character gacha, but let's not kid ourselves. Skins are just not as profitable as trying to capture whales with dupes and signature weapons.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Honestly, I could care less about how my character looks. Genuinely, I think there are gonna be that target audience that, like, they will want to just go for the skin if they actually want it. But skins do not make as much. Monetizing skins through a gacha is not going to make them as much money as if they were selling a new character. Because if I could either summon for a character or guarantee get the character and summon for a skin, I think I would just meet in the middle and just get the character. Right? Not summon for a character, nor go for a skin. I'll just meet in the middle and get the character. You know what I'm saying?
The current models of traditional stamina and gacha systems work so well that I really think there's just no point of taking the risk of going the gacha skin route for a lot of developers. No, I don't think Duet Night Abyss will kill gacha games or reform them to a great extent. The impact of the decision to remove stamina and character gacha will be fairly minimal in the grand scheme of things. The monotonous gameplay is something that's a bit more subjective, though I feel this is a much harder problem to tackle than performance or game economy issues. This is my main concern when playing the game.
Here. I was about to say, like, any game that becomes a no stamina type game, like, would just end up being Duet Night Abyss, but then Nikkei is a no stamina. But, like, you don't need stamina to play Nikkei. You know what I mean? They have caps when it comes to, like, you know what I mean? They have caps when it comes to, like, your anomaly interception or your freaking, daily tower of trial for, like, the different manufacturings, but they don't have stamina in that game, and that's nothing like this game.
For me, it leaves a lot to be desired. If you ask me how Duet Night Abyss will perform in the long run, I think it will do just fine. Maybe not to the extent of the other giants in the industry, but for a new studio, I would say it's pretty solid.
And events,
overall.
yeah.
I think the music, the story, and the general quality should be praised for a studio's first real attempt at a large title. I think the innovations to go the gacha-less route and removing the stamina system are fine. They're not what I consider to be the ideal solutions to the problem.
I agree with you fully. I think this game's biggest issue is that they drop no skins. They only have the game for their release, their launch. They only have the Christmas skin that you can give to characters, and then the Psyche skin in the gacha, Rebecca skin in the gacha, and then Truffle and Filbert skin. Other than that, no other character can get a skin that, like, besides the Christmas skin, because the Christmas skin is a universal thing
they're meant to be addressing, but it's different enough that people will find interest in it. It just depends how this will all pan out in the long term. The monetization is mainly cosmetic based, and they're going to get a little stingy on that. My biggest gripe right now is the lack of interactivity in the gameplay, and this will be a much bigger issue to handle than the other items on the list. And even though it might not be for me, I can see how the game can have an addictive grind for the right players, and this is a game I overall would have no problems recommending to others to try. This is going to be one of those games I'll check back in a year to see how well it's doing. When I first heard the news that DNA was removing the gacha, I thought this might have actually been a turning point in the genre, and when other studios see the success it's getting from this decision, they'd
Chat, is it just me? Like, is it just me, or when a game says they're removing a gacha, it just means that game is no longer a gacha game? And I understand it's a gacha for skins, but that, like, League of Legends has that, though. They have that type of system too for some skins. But nobody would say League of Legends is a gacha game.
Now though, I look at the game and think, Yeah, I guess that's also another way to monetize the game.
I didn't even know that until my bro Amazing said that.
Sure, why not? Games will always ask for a lot of your time or money, and I can see that.
What is that game? What is this game? What is this game? What game is this? Chat, somebody hook me up. What game is this?
A lot of your time or money, and I can see that DNA just
Do you need skins to play the game? No.
Happen to choose the former. Thank you for tuning into this first impressions review of Duet Night Abyss. Let me know what you think of the game down below. If you want to catch more gacha reviews and analysis like this, you know what to do. If you also want to catch more opinionated, informal, and casual discussions on gacha games as well, feel free to follow me on my
Shut up your mouth. Anyways, I'm joking. Honestly, god-awful review. Genuinely, just a god-awful review. I think the whole thing, I think the really, like, where he went wrong with this review, it's not that this guy, it's not like Psyche's dumb. It's not like he's dumb and he just doesn't know what he's talking about, right? Because he's played the game. I think the biggest problem with this video and the biggest mistake that Psyche made with this video was trying to turn a non-gacha game into a gacha game. He played this game and his whole thing in this video was that he wanted it to be a gacha game. But that's just not how it works. Because if I made the same exact video about chest and then complained that chest, my pawn is not swinging around the freaking board like Spider-Man building to building, I think I would also get dislike bombed. If I went into Valorant and I made a review about Valorant and complained that Valorant isn't played like freaking, like Pokemon, I'm sure I would have also been disliked, but it's just not how it works. Damn on them. Bro, it's your boy Zeoxys. If y'all want to check out that video for yourself without my yapping, because it's I don't know. If y'all want to check it out without my thing, y'all check it. I'm not gonna like or dislike this video because that's just negative for me. And I just don't. I'm gonna dislike the video. Who am I lying to? That he got disliked there. I ain't gonna lie to you boys. But yeah, yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I can't. This is crazy.